In this video, I want to talk about how to create API definitions for technical documents. And this is a problem I kept running into. I'm a software engineer for a fairly large company. And in our company, we have a bunch of documents before we start projects that can be requests for comments or RFCs or product requirement documents. Or even security review documents or all kinds of documents where I potentially need to discuss adding endpoints, removing endpoints, modifying endpoints. And in these documents, I'd always run into the challenge of how to describe the endpoint that I want to add or the modifications that I want to do. I was always looking for a way to have a structured discussion about API definitions, and there was never a tool. But turns out there's a tool now. It's called API Fiddle, and that's the tool I want to show you in this video. You can find it under this URL, apifiddle.com, and it's super easy to use. You can just whip up the website. It will open this editor. You can start with an example. Here it is an example of a bookstore. You can see the different routes here, like get, post, another get request, and a delete request. And what you get as a result is this thing here on the left-hand side with the copy button. So you can define an operation. An operation is a path, like an URL path, as well as an HTTP method. So you define this operation, and what you get is this copyable description of an API that you can just copy and paste into any technical document, and is super useful, especially if you're working at a company where you need to write a lot. So next I want to show you how you can actually create one of these operations. To create an operation, just click here. You can choose the HTTP method, and then you define a path. Let's call this like cat path. We can also give this a variable right here. Let's maybe call this like cat ID. And this will create a get operation. You can already see the definition here. The path parameter was automatically created, but we can still change its type. We can add query parameters. We can add a request body. This here is a get request, so no body. And then you get a response field here. You can add different status codes depending on whether or not your API returns a response for, let's say, a 200 or a 404 or a 500 or whatever status code your API returns. You then get to choose what the response will be from this status code. Here it is an object. You can add fields to the object. Let's call this like a name. Let's make it be of type string, but this can also be another object. And then we can add fields to this object. And you can see this preview here on the left-hand side will update in a real-time live fashion, which is super handy. It's just a little tool that you can use to create API definitions for technical documents or for discussions with your colleagues. It helps me a lot. Feel free to try it out if you find it useful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.